Welcome to the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Sunday, August 8th. Today we will have an increase in winds as a cold front moves across Idaho. We will see winds increase over southern and eastern Idaho, Wyoming, and northeast Utah, with gusts between 30 and 40 miles per hour, and some areas of southern Idaho will see gusts above 40 miles per hour. We also will see a few mixed wet and dry thunderstorms, possibly over central and eastern Idaho into Wyoming, as that cold front moves through. We will continue to have thick smoke across the Great Basin, especially across Nevada and Utah. This will continue going into the early part of next week. By Monday, we will continue to see breezy winds over parts of northeast Utah. In these areas where we'll see gusty winds, we'll also see lower relative humidity. We will also see winds pick up over parts of Nevada and Utah, but most gusts will remain below 30 miles per hour. The next push of monsoon moisture may start as early as Tuesday, with some isolated thunderstorms pushing into far southern areas. Looking at our smoke forecast, this is this morning and this afternoon near the surface. You can see the thick smoke over much of Nevada and Utah, but there will be some improvements over central Idaho, especially as we get to this afternoon. Similar conditions at the 6,000-foot level, still plenty of smoke this morning, but again, we'll see some improvement over parts of central Idaho. Over the last 24 hours, no precipitation or lightning has affected the Great Basin. Looking at our Great Basin fire activity, we did have several new smaller fires reported across the Great Basin and one new fire just over 100 acres over parts of eastern Idaho. Looking at the precipitation now over the last 7 to 14 days, again, plenty of moisture moved up into the Great Basin, causing wetting rains over much of the eastern two-thirds of the region. This was well above normal for the time of year. Some of the dry spots still are parts of the Sierra Front into northwest Nevada and also over parts of central Idaho, especially in the Payette. Currently, our ERCs are starting to rise as drier weather has returned to the Great Basin, but still remains below the 50th percentile over much of southern and eastern areas of the Great Basin. Up in Idaho, we will see these fuel conditions start to moderate a little bit as that cold front moves through, but right now, parts of central Idaho that were on the drier side of the recent moisture are above the 70th percentile, and still the dry spots over western and northwest Nevada above the 80th or 90th percentile. Looking at some of our ERC charts, today we will see that wind over south central Idaho. ERCs, again, below normal and certainly well below the 80th percentile, but with that wind, it will certainly exacerbate the drying trend, and we could see some holdovers despite the lower ERCs. Over parts of the Sierra Front and northwest Nevada, where we're seeing our driest conditions, ERCs remain above normal. Looking at our satellite picture from this morning, the cold front is now moving into the Pacific Northwest, and this will continue pushing eastward, bringing cooler temperatures, some clouds to Idaho, a few showers and thunderstorms, and also that increase in winds today. This is a picture of our visible satellite showing the smoke conditions across the Great Basin. Again, any area in white really across southern Idaho, Utah, and Nevada is all smoke from our fires to the west. So again, thick smoke is expected to continue here over the next couple of days. Looking at our weather pattern for later today, that cold front starts to move into Idaho this afternoon, so we will see that increase in winds over much of central and southern Idaho. We did issue high risk for the areas that are in the lower elevations and on the drier side, again, where we could see some holdovers pick up. Also, those winds will be picking up in the higher terrain, so we'll see if we have any dry spots to pick up holdovers as well. Didn't high risk any lightning today over Idaho, as lightning in our area should be fairly isolated. Looking at the relative humidity for today, again, you can see the driest conditions across Nevada and Utah, where RH is in the single digits to low teens. Up across Idaho, as that cold front moves in, bringing those cooler temperatures, we will see relative humidity remain above about 20 or 25%. So again, despite the rise in humidity, with the increase in winds and the recent lightning, that is mostly for the risk, for the high risk up across Idaho, is that potential for holdovers. Further south, we will see those winds breezy across Nevada and Utah, but most gusts below 30 miles per hour. Looking at the thunderstorms today, again, the lightning activity will likely just brush our area of Idaho, so only expecting very isolated conditions with more lightning further north. As we move into Monday, that cold front sweeps into the eastern side of Montana. We will see some breezy winds continue over parts of northeast Utah, but right now the strongest winds look like they'll be further east into Wyoming. Otherwise, drier weather is expected across the Great Basin. Relative humidity will remain in the single digits to low teens in the south and between about 15 and 25% for northern areas, but we will see that significant decrease in winds on Monday, with still some cool temperatures lingering up across Idaho and Wyoming. On Tuesday, conditions start to warm as the ridge begins to build, with dry conditions in most of the Great Basin. However, we could see some isolated thunderstorms creep further north into far southern Nevada, the Arizona Strip, or far southern Utah. Our significant fire potential shows conditions drying out basically from west to east across the Great Basin, with the exception of the far south that will see that return of moisture. Relative humidity drops on Tuesday in all locations in the single digits to teens, with generally light winds under that ridge. Forecast amounts of precipitation, again, anything we see in Idaho today with the cold front will be very spotty. Further south, as we see that return of moisture by Tuesday, we might start to see some showers in the far south. Going into Wednesday, things get a little bit more interesting. Right now, the models are showing some moisture pushing its way up the western side of the ridge into the Sierra front. So if that occurs, we will see some isolated thunderstorms in those areas, and they could be a mix of wet and dry. So we did issue a high risk on Wednesday right along the Sierra front. We will continue to watch this pattern as that moisture surge up into western areas may be a little bit slower or faster. But right now it's looking like Wednesday would be the first day that lightning pushes further north. Otherwise, thunderstorms are expected in the far south as well. Going into Thursday, that moisture pushes north up into Oregon, looking like a drier day. Could still see some lingering thunderstorms in the Sierra front, but right now any of that moisture is confined to the very far southern portion of the Great Basin. And then by Friday, we start to see that moisture work its way a little bit further north, so we'll be expecting those thunderstorms to expand, but mainly any of the deeper moisture will remain over the far south. These conditions continue on Saturday, so we'll continue to watch that return of moisture, but otherwise, conditions definitely dry as we go through next week, with moderate fire potential expected to return to most of the northern half of the Great Basin. The 7-day total precipitation shows again that moisture returning to the south, so we'll be watching that, but right now it's not looking like it's making a great push to the far north, so we will continue to watch that push of moisture. The 8 to 14-day outlook, taking us from August 15th through the 21st, shows warm temperatures, but does show that above normal precipitation, so as we get later in August, we are expecting that monsoon moisture to continue to affect areas over the southern half of the Great Basin. That concludes our webcast for today. Check back tomorrow for the latest updates.